Stop buying the Huawei Mate XT Ultimate just because it looks cool on TikTok. Because the phone that actually matters is finally here, and it makes the Mate XT look like a fragile toy. For months, we have watched people in China flex the Huawei Mate XT. It was the first. It was the skinniest. It was the coolest thing we had ever seen. But the monopoly is over. Samsung has just woken up, and later this week, on December 12th, they are dropping the Galaxy Z TriFold. I have been looking at the leaked specs, the durability ratings, and the processing power, and I have to be honest with you. This isn't just a competition anymore. This is a complete execution. We need to talk about why the first mover advantage might actually be Huawei's biggest curse. Let's start with the thing you are going to touch every single day, the Fold. Huawei came out swinging with the Mate XT in September 2024. They used what is called a Z Fold mechanism. Imagine a piece of paper folded like a Z. One part of the screen is always on the outside. It looks incredible. When you hold it, it feels impossibly thin, like holding a stack of credit cards. It is sexy tech. There is no other word for it. But here is the problem with sexy tech. It breaks. Because of that Z shape, the Huawei screen is always exposed. It wraps around the outside of the phone. If you put it in your pocket with your keys, scratch city. If you drop it on the sidewalk, game over. You are literally carrying a soft plastic screen on the outside of your device 24/7. It gives me anxiety just thinking about it. Samsung looked at that and said, no thanks. The Galaxy Z TriFold uses a G-fold, or an inward folding style. Think of it like a brochure you get at a travel agency. The two side panels fold inward, completely covering the big middle screen. When you close the Samsung, the expensive soft 10-inch screen is tucked away safely inside a hard shell. Yes, this makes the Samsung a little bit thicker. It's a little bit heavier, but it means you can actually treat it like a phone. You can toss it on the couch. You can slide it into a bag. You don't have to baby it. And Samsung added a separate glass cover screen on the front. So when it's closed, it feels like a normal S25 Ultra. When the Huawei is closed, it feels like you are holding a raw egg that you are afraid to crack. Now, let's open them up. Both of these things are magic tricks. You snap them open, and suddenly you aren't holding a phone anymore. You are holding a tablet. The Huawei gives you a 10.2-inch canvas. The Samsung gives you a flat 10 inches. On paper, they sound similar. In reality, your eyes are going to notice a difference. Huawei uses a standard OLED panel with a 90 Hz refresh rate. It is smooth, sure, but 90 Hz in 2025 feels a little bit lazy, especially for a device that costs as much as a used Honda Civic. Samsung is bringing the heat with a dynamic AMOLED 2X panel that hits 120 Hz. If you play games, or even if you just scroll through Twitter or Instagram fast, the Samsung is going to look like butter. It's fluid. It reacts instantly. And then there is the brightness. We don't have the official nits for the Huawei, but outdoor visibility has been just okay. Samsung is claiming 1,600 nits on the main screen, and a blinding 2,600 nits on the cover screen. You could use the Samsung Z TriFold on the surface of the sun, and still read your text messages. But all of that hardware doesn't matter if the engine inside is slow. And this is where things get a little bit sad for Huawei. This is the problem section of our video, and it is a big one. Huawei is fighting with one hand tied behind its back. Because of trade bans and politics, they cannot use the latest technology from the US. They are using their own chip, the Kirin 9010. It is a 7-nanometer chip. If you aren't a tech nerd, let me explain what that means. In the world of chips, smaller numbers are better. 7-nanometer is technology from 3 or 4 years ago. It gets hot. It eats battery life faster. And it just isn't that powerful for heavy gaming. Samsung? They have the keys to the castle. The Z TriFold is running the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite. This is a 3-nanometer monster. It is generations ahead of the Huawei. We are talking about 30% to 40% faster speeds. If you are just sending emails, you might not notice. But the second you try to edit a 4K video, or play Genshin Impact on max settings, or run 3 apps at the same time on that big screen, the Huawei is going to stutter. The Samsung is going to laugh at you and ask for more work. And that brings us to the software. Look, I love what Huawei has done with HarmonyOS. They built their own operating system from scratch. It handles multitasking really well. You can drag windows around, resize them. It feels like a desktop. But there is an elephant in the room. A massive, invisible elephant. Google. The Huawei Mate XT does not have the Google Play Store. No YouTube app. No Gmail app. No Google Maps. No Google Pay. If you live in China, this doesn't matter, because they don't use those apps anyway. But if you are watching this video, you probably rely on Google for everything. You can try to sideload these apps, which basically means hacking them onto your phone. But it is a headache. Your banking apps might not work. Your notifications might be delayed. The Samsung Z TriFold comes with Android 16 and One UI right out of the box. You sign in, and boom. All your photos, all your contacts, all your apps are there. Plus, Samsung has polished their multitasking software for years. Imagine this scenario. You have the Samsung unfolded. On the left third of the screen, you have YouTube playing a video. On the middle third, you have your web browser open doing research. On the right third, you have your Notes app open, writing down ideas. It all works seamlessly. You can drag a picture from the web browser and drop it into your notes. It is a productivity dream. Huawei tries to do this, but without the native app support, it feels like you are fighting the phone instead of using it. Let's talk about cameras for a minute. Usually, foldable phones have trash cameras. There is just no space inside the thin body to put big sensors. Huawei actually did something really clever here. They included a variable aperture main camera. That means the lens physically opens and closes to let in more or less light, just like a real DSLR camera. It is amazing for portrait shots and creates a natural blurry background. They also have a 5.5 times optical zoom, which is great for spying on your neighbors. I mean, taking pictures of birds. Samsung is taking a different approach. They are basically slapping the S25 Ultra cameras onto a foldable. A 200 megapixel main sensor. That is a lot of pixels. It means you can crop into a photo and still see the pores on someone's face. But here is where Samsung loses a point. The zoom. The Z TriFold only has a 3 times optical zoom. It's good, but it's not sniper rifle good like the Huawei. If you are a photographer who needs extreme zoom, the Huawei actually wins this round. However, there is a climax to this story that changes everything. It's the one feature that decides if your $3,000 phone survives the real world. Water. The Huawei Mate XT has 0 official water resistance rating. If you get caught in a heavy rainstorm, you better hide that phone under your shirt and pray. If you drop it in the sink, start crying. The hinge has gaps, and water will get inside and fry the electronics. Samsung is built differently. The Z TriFold is rated IP48. Now, IP48 is a weird number. The 4 means it stops solid objects bigger than 1 millimeter, so don't take it to the beach because sand will kill it. But the 8, that means it is water resistant. You can dunk it. You can spill coffee on it. You can use it in the rain. For a device with 2 hinges and 3 screens, that is an engineering miracle. It gives you peace of mind. And when you are spending this much money, peace of mind is worth a lot. Let's also talk about the battery, because powering a 10-inch screen takes a lot of juice. Both phones manage to cram in a 5,600 mAh battery. That is huge. It's bigger than most regular phones. But remember the chipsets. Because the Samsung uses the new efficient Snapdragon chip, it sips power. The Huawei, with its older inefficient chip, chugs power. So even though the batteries are the same size, the Samsung is going to last longer. You will probably get an extra 2 or 3 hours of screen on time with the Galaxy. Huawei does charge faster though. They give you 66-watt wired charging. Samsung is stuck at 45 watts. It's a small win for Huawei, but I would rather have a battery that lasts all day than a phone that charges slightly faster. So, where does that leave us? The Huawei Mate XT Ultimate is a collector's item. It is a piece of art. It proved that a trifold phone was possible. If you want the absolute thinnest device, and you don't care about Google apps or water damage, it is a flex. It shows people you have something they can't get. But the Samsung Galaxy Z TriFold? This is the one you actually buy to use. It solves every major problem the Huawei has. It protects the screen by folding inward. It runs the apps you actually need. It has a processor that can handle the next 5 years of software updates. And it won't die if you spill a glass of water on it. Samsung might have been late to the party. They waited 3 months while Huawei got all the headlines. But they didn't wait because they were slow. They waited because they wanted to get it right. The trifold era starts now. But the winner isn't the one who did it first. It's the one who did it best. If you want to see a full camera test comparison between these two, as soon as we get our hands on the Samsung unit, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it.